Evening, everyone. We would like to welcome the 2023 American Express champion, Jon Rahm, to the Media Center. Jon just captured your 9th PGA Tour victory and second here at the American Express. We'll start off with some opening comments about an eventful Sunday.
I don't have much to say. I'm just going to say that I'm glad I came back and won the putting contest this year. That's all I can say.
And winning in back-to-back starts, moving to number 1 in the FedEx Cup for the first time. What does this say about the season you're having so far?
Heck of a start. Obviously, Sentry and this one are very, very different golf courses and very different golf, right? But you still have to go low in both of them. So luckily the mentality is the same. Body's been feeling great. My swing's been feeling really, really good. And it shows, right? Even when I'm saying I may not be as comfortable as I would have liked, I'm shooting 64s because everything is just firing when it needs to, right? So I'm in a weird way glad that today went the way it went. I've enjoyed some runaway victories. I've enjoyed some comebacks, but today was certainly a struggle, you know. Out of the 5 birdies I made, what is it, 1, 2, 3 of them were tap-ins and the other 2 were basically 6-footers, right? So that tells you a story. I didn't really make much today, even though everything looked really good and a lot of them looked like any of them could have gone in. But, you know, kept battling. Davis played amazing golf today, even through some of the bad swings he had early on. He battled, he came back, made an amazing 6 on the 5th hole and gave me a run. This is just golf, right? If I don't make the putt on 14, if his ball goes in on 17, you never know what can happen. But luckily, the scales tipped in my favor today, and I got the win.
We'll go and take questions from the media. If you have a question, raise your hand, and we'll start off with Larry Bohannon here in the front.
Yesterday, you talked about putting a lot of great rolls on putts that didn't go in. It looked like that was kind of the story today. And then you made 2 big putts on 14 and 16. Mm-hmm. Was that the story today? It's same as yesterday, good putting, just not going in?
Yeah, I could tell you there's a few. I mean, on 5, 7, 8, 10, 15, all of 17 and 18, all of those putts were good. All of them looked like they were dead center with 2 feet to go, and just at the end, they just missed. Luckily, the one on 16 curled in, and I made the one on 14 that I needed to not give up the lead, right? But that's golf. Yesterday on the front 9, I basically felt like I couldn't miss for the first 14 holes. I mean, the hole looked a bit as big as it could ever look. And I can definitely say there was, the first 54 holes, some putts that weren't as good as some of the rolls I put in today that definitely went in. That's just golf. It is what it is. I wouldn't know what to say. It usually evens out somehow, and my ball striking got better, and my putting maybe not as good as I would have liked. But if I were to play at that level every single round, well, yeah, I'd be winning by 6 or 7, and that's just not easy to do.
I was going to say that's kind of the next question, which is, you were playing well, you were hitting the ball well, you were putting the ball well, and yet you're tied.
I mean, I've shot combined 54 under in the last 2 tournaments and won by a combined 3 shots. I don't know what else to tell you. It's not like I'm putting bad, right? It's just the really good rolls that sometimes didn't go in.
You did get off to a great start. Again, You were saying a couple days ago your wedge game was great. You knock it in there to 2 feet on both of those holes. Did you think to yourself, okay, here we go?
Yeah, honestly. After that swing I put in on 5, those 2 swings, at tee shot and the 5-iron, I'm like, man, if I keep making swings like this, today could be a really low day. And I kept making the swings, I just didn't capitalize on those. But it was a fantastic round of golf, that's all I can say. I knew some people were going to come out and shoot 62, 64, 65s and get close, but luckily we started with a cushion of shots and was able to end up ahead.
We'll go here, Jim Alexander.
After having a chance to play in the same group as Davis today, what were your impressions of the way he handles himself and the poise? It seemed, just looking at it, like he was awful cool for a rookie.
He is, yeah. But make no mistake, what you see and what he feels could be completely different things, right? We're all nervous out there. You feel it, right? It's just how you deal with it. And Right, first time in this situation, teeing off with a lead on Sunday on a PGA Tour event, and I think he did a great job. He played good golf. There was just, I would say, 2 bad swings at the wrong time, and that was 5 and 16. One could say it was 2 holes where he was maybe trying to hit it a little bit hard, trying to get some extra distance, and one cost him at least 1 shot, and the one on 16 cost him half a shot, and that was the difference at the end.
And it just comes back to the idea that in this game, the margin is incredibly slim.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we're not only shooting this course because the courses are easy. It's just the level of the average player keeps getting higher and higher, right? I would like to know in years past, if you shoot 27 under, how many of them you win by 1? Not many. Most of the time you're winning by a comfortable margin. So it goes to show how good everybody is getting, and it's a really good time for spectators and fans of the game, because what's more fun than to see people just make birdies after birdies and having an exciting game.
And we'll go over to Kevin Price.
Jon, Rory has spoken at times of how it can be almost easier mentally to chase number 1 than staying at number 1, and kind of the war in the mind of complacency trying to creep in at times. What's your reaction to that, and kind of how it feels as you're chasing it as opposed to when you've been at number 1?
First of all, sorry for the Bills.
I appreciate it. It was a good run. Good
I didn't
season.
watch a game, but I know they lost. We still keep up out there.
Thank you.
There's definitely a difference, right? I mean, when you're chasing, to an extent, it's almost easier because you have one option, and that is to make birdies, right? When you're leading, yes, you want to make birdies, but you don't want to make stupid mistakes that are going to cost you a bogey. So it's obviously a little bit more difficult, but I enjoy both of them. If I had to choose, obviously I would always like to have the lead, because you're always out there, and if you keep making birdies, it's never going to catch you. So I would always rather be there. But those comeback wins are fun, man. When you go on a heater and get those birdies down, and all of a sudden, bam, you lead in the tournament and you win the tournament is quite unique. But yeah, if I had to choose, I'd rather lead. You learn a lot about yourself in 18 holes, because it's 4 to 5 hours of a lot of stress, and you definitely learn a lot about yourself.
And in terms of your kind of season and last few months, winning 4 of your last 5 worldwide starts, how would you contextualize your comfort level on the course, this stretch, and where it relates kind of in your career?
I think today was about as comfortable as I've been in a long time on the golf course, tee to green. I felt really in command of my swing, except the only 2 mistakes were the tee shot on 1 and the tee shot on 13, and the one on 13 was barely a miss. So I felt in command of my game, made a lot of good swings out there, and always gave myself a lot of chances, which sometimes you may make and sometimes you don't, but felt about as comfortable as can be. Every time I felt like this in the past, I've ended up going to win, just because it takes a lot of pressure off a lot of parts of my game, knowing that basically I'm going to hit the shot that I'm envisioning. And that's a really unique zone to put yourself in. That doesn't happen as often as I wish. I wish I could be like that every single time. And I know I'm going to stripe it into the middle of the fairway and hit the shot at the pin, but it doesn't always happen. So I'm glad I enjoyed the day like that today.
And in terms of kind of, celebrating success, managing success, and striving forward, are there any other athletes or people in life that come to mind that you respect, how they handle success?
So many. Sorry I'm cutting you off, but that's a very long list. One that in college got very dear to my heart, if we go outside of golf, was Kobe Bryant. I spent a lot of time listening to a lot of his interviews and videos, because I see a lot of similarities between us in the way we approach our craft, because craft is a key word for Kobe, and having that obsessiveness that we both have over the game, and it's somebody to learn from, for sure. Work ethic beats talent every day of the week, period. And I like to think that I have a really hard work ethic, and I put a lot of time in, and like I said all year last year, like at the end of the year, you're seeing now, let's say, the fruits of all the hard work that I've put in. Like I said, I felt like I was swinging really well last year. The results were just not happening, and they're coming in a bunch right now. Other athletes, I've gotten pretty close with Michael Phelps. I've been able to ask him quite a few things, and pick his brain. But he simplifies it a little bit. I guess when you're the greatest in history in anything, it seems easy, right? Personally, there's been a few I've been able to meet. There's 2 football players for the Cardinals. We're in a group chat that are complete golf nerds. One of them's going to have a lot of time to play golf right now, which is J.J. Watt and Zach Ertz, who is now injured. I hope they were able to watch around. They're meeting them and see how they approach a game. Even though I haven't asked them a ton of questions, I observe, and they're definitely an incredible inspiration in how they do what they do. JJ especially, to be a leader of a team, a captain, and a force to be reckoned with on the field like he has been for so long, and to still be as dedicated as he has been on not only how much he had to eat, what he had to eat, because, eating 10 dried chicken breasts a day has to get old very quickly. But he does for recovery and making sure his body is healthy, and same with Zach, both of them. It's been really, really inspiring, and I've learned a lot from both of them.
Thank you.
And we'll go back up here to Larry.
2 questions. First one, you've talked a lot about how comfortable you feel in the American Southwest. Arizona, California, obviously 2 wins here, 2 big wins in Torrey. Could you just talk about, was that just the matter of having gone to college in the American Southwest, or is it something else that turns you on out here?
No, I think that's it. Having played college for Arizona State, we played a very large amount of our tournaments, Arizona and California, Southern California especially. So, for some reason I'm just comfortable. Palm Springs, it might as well be Scottsdale. It's pretty much the same thing. So golf is, very similar, but I wouldn't know but why. I think it's because I grew up in Pointe Greens, Southern California. I feel really comfortable on, and it's something that feels really familiar. And I think it's probably because the success I had in college was followed and kind of bled into the PGA Tour and won my first few events in California, right? Honestly, if we start counting from 2012 till now, my win percentage in California is pretty damn good. And I hope I can keep improving it. I don't know what it is exactly, but we know about Torrey Pines, but everything else, it's probably because I'm just so comfortable. The lifestyle suits me. My wife and I love this part of the country, and she's happy, I'm happy, our kids are happy. It's a lot easier to play golf.
And you talk about how the margins are pretty thin out here. You seem to be making the margins a little larger. 4 wins in your last 6 tournaments. Despite what some computers might say, you seem to be the best player in the world right now. Do you feel like you can just maintain this, or how much better can you get?
In my mind, I feel like I can get a lot better. And I feel like that's the mentality I should have. Again, I work very hard to do what I do, and I could find mistakes in every single round I've played. Very few times I would say I've played a flawless round. And even though there's a massive amount of positives, like the one massive positive is how good my wedge game was this week. The amount of tap-ins that I've had this 4 days is unlike anything I've ever had. If I had to put an MVP to something, is that, that 56 and that 52-degree wedges were key. And so if I can keep that going and the ball striking at the level that I know I can, I know it can get better. Again, it's my job to try to do the best I can, and so far I'm doing a pretty good job. Precisely, yeah. I'm out there to win. I've said that many times. I compete to win, and no matter how I feel, sometimes it looks better and prettier than others. But I'm glad that the last few have looked as good as they have.
We'll finish off with the last few. Chris Datcher's here in the back.
Jon, we just ran a graphic on our show that this being your 9th PGA Tour win, you tie Seve for 9 PGA Tour wins from the country of Spain, and I know how much you look up to Seve. Just sort of your reaction to that.
Are you counting his 5 majors as PGA Tour wins?
Yes.
Yeah, well, slight asterisk next to that one, right? Seve didn't play full-time PGA Tour, so the fact that he had 9 wins is pretty spectacular. I've been fortunate to to tie a lot of the things he's done, and if I ever get to surpass some of those things, would be incredible. I've spoken many times, and the reason why I play golf, and not like motivation, meaning my dad started playing golf because of the '97 Ryder Cup and Sevy's captaincy, and that's basically why I'm here. I asked my dad recently, if your friends hadn't been down there to see that, what would we be doing? Who knows? I have no idea. That's why I take representing golf in Spain so seriously, and why, you know, Sevy's legacy is so important to me. When he started playing golf, I think there were 30,000 people with a golf license in Spain. At the time he died, it was over 350,000. So, you know, when I started playing, I think it was 300 and something thousand. So I would love to be able to escalate that. I know it'll be hard to do to the level that he did, but if I can increase that number and make golf more popular in Spain, I'll be a happy man.
And I'll wrap it up with the final question of, can you speak to the momentum? Have 4 wins in the last worldwide 6 starts, heading into Torrey next week. Can you talk about this momentum you've been riding?
It's too early to be asking me right now. And the fact that we're teeing off in basically, 72 hours, it's another factor. Don't know if I have time to reflect on that, but obviously, like I've said, I feel really healthy and I feel really comfortable in my swing, so I'm going to go to Torrey, a place that I'm already very confident at with, you know, very high hopes, knowing that I'm doing all the right things. You know, if I can keep hitting it off the tee and my iron game keeps staying at this level, I'm going to have a really good chance at that golf course. So, you know, I can't help to smile because, again, it's a very, very emotional week every time I go, in a very good way. It's a very special place in my heart, so going very confident and very willing to tee off, very eager. It's a very fun week. It's one of the best courses we play all year, and, you know, we really have to tough it out there and be the best. So I'm looking forward to have a chance to do that again.
Perfect. Jon, again, congrats on the win today. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.